Brodes Media.
What's going on, everyone? We have an Eagles football game on Sunday. Let's talk about what's going to go down or what should go down. First, if you're new to the channel, smash the subscribe button. Hit the thumbs up button as well. Thank you so much for joining the team. We have a lot of fun here talking Philly sports. If you're looking to buy tickets to any NBA game, NFL game, NHL game, you can utilize the promo code Brodes at SeatGeek's checkout page for $20 off of your purchase. $20 right off your tickets. It's a no-brainer. Get yourself to a game today. With that said, enjoy the show. I just want to make sure that this is highlighted before we really talk about everything. Asante Samuel Jr. and Michael Davis are unavailable for the Chargers entering this week, and I just feel that it's so simple and so easy to fall back into your tendencies that are flawed when this is the case, and of course I'm alluding to passing the football too much. Don't lose sight of the success that you had last week. Take advantage of the fact that the Chargers are horrendous in run defense. Run it down their throat and do not fall back into the trap. It's there. This coaching staff has bit before on poor choices. Don't do it again. Learn from your past mistakes. So please, Nick Sirianni, please stick to the run. This is massive news for the Chargers to not have two of these players available for you. There's an opportunity to have more success in the passing game than you would have, but don't lose sight of the run. All right, now enjoy the rest of the show. What is going on, everyone? Welcome on into Sports Talk with Brodes. We have the Eagles Sunday afternoon, 4 o'clock at the Link, and I'm very interested to see how Nick Sirianni and this coaching staff, how they game plan for a different opponent. There's a lot of confidence and a lot of morale that was very important last game. Even though the Lions blow and the Lions are a horrendous football team, it would have been an absolute disaster if the opposite happened, which was a loss, or if they won, but it was an ugly brand where they win 10-3 or they win 13-7 or something so ridiculous where it was not in the dominating fashion that it was. That definitely plays a role in how we feel right now and how the locker room feels, which is important rolling in to the Chargers game. Now, ultimately, they could just get beat up pretty damn good, and all of that means nothing, and then you generate the dialogue once again, which was, well, it meant nothing at all. We're trying to figure out, does it mean anything or does it not mean anything? If the Chargers come in here and spit all over your face, I think we'll have our answer, which is, yeah, the Eagles, that was nothing. That was them just showing they're not as brutal as the Lions, which is a very low spot to be at in the National Football League. We're not there, hallelujah, but it didn't tell us enough because, or it's not enough because they end up losing to the Chargers, right? If that is the case. But what if it's not? What if they handle the Chargers? And here's my thing. There's an opportunity to do it. Whether they take advantage, whether they show that they have the right mindset, but then their personnel ultimately ends up running just short. There's an opportunity here to show us, the fan base, the city, that you're not as much of a stew nod as you have put out on display as a coaching staff perspective through the first 8 weeks of the season. They are the worst in the entire league stopping the run, which is ironic, knowing what Staley believes in as the head coach, talking about the impact of the run game and how important it is because of the physicalness of the game. He's not wrong, but his team has major flaws and has a huge hole in it because of that concept. And there is an opportunity right here. You watched Boston Scott and Jordan Howard run through Detroit with ease. Lower the shoulder, make it difficult, make them earn it. It's right there. It's really that simple. Last game, we knew. Veterans, offensive line, told Nick Sirianni, stick with this. We have something here. We're dominating in the trenches. Don't go away from this. Is it because they knew that he was ultimately going to? Or two, they just recognized, let's keep it going. Let's keep our foot on the gas. Well, regardless, first couple of drives, you got to take advantage. Get Jason Kelce, Lane Johnson, Mailata up and up and up. Get them going. See if they can win that matchup consistently at enough of a rate that makes you satisfied where Make Jalen Hurts just be a game manager, because that's what's going to be best for you to win football games, which tells you what we've been asking, which is he a franchise quarterback or not? Is he the future of the team? The answer is no. So let's limit his role, limit what he needs to do, put it more to a basic level, run the damn rock, play action, and from there, let's go. Establish an offensive game plan and execute too. That doesn't mean never give him the big play. Hello, Dallas Goedert. Hello, Devontae Smith. Hello, Quez Watkins. There are 3 players out there that, from the play action department, could probably open up some downfield throws. Maybe utilize the middle of the field. I don't know, just spitballing. But it all begins with handing it off, getting under center. Let that work first, and then your entire playbook becomes open. That's basic football knowledge for sure. Now, Joey Bosa's a threat, right? If you're thinking about, because I'm talking about the offensive line right now, putting their hand in the dirt and plowing through guys nonstop. Joey Bosa could ball. And I wonder, just looking at Mailata, it's not easy to flip-flop the way that he has. And while I think that there's been plenty of moments where you go, ooh, probably not the greatest out of Jordan Mailata, we've seen some strong signs out of him too. There's a lot of movement, though, back and forth, and we just can't pretend it's not a huge deal to consistently do that. I want him back where he belongs, where this organization values him most, where we are trying to look at our future left tackle. I want him there. Circumstances happen. Lane Johnson misses time. Someone has to slide over to the right side. It's never just going to be smooth sailing. That's not life. Totally acknowledging that. Let's get him back where he belongs, though, so he can get into rhythm. And how hurt is he? How banged up is he? Is there a correlation with what limited him early on in the season and the fact that sometimes you scratch your head wondering, well, what happened here? Why did he get off the line of scrimmage so damn slow? And why was he torched as easily as he was? Is it 1, he's not good enough? 2, he needs to learn? 3, injury, a combination of 2 and 3. I love the kid. I think he's clearly a special talent. The fact that he hasn't even played the damn sport gets thrown into this, and he's this strong making that type of payday. Yeah, there's validity to how great he is, but I'm just trying to figure out why has it been sloppy throughout. Flipping back and forth, the combination of all 4 things. Got to get stronger in certain spots, got to be quicker, or is the knee and what he was going through prior, somewhat of just why? So something I'm definitely looking for on our offensive line for sure. So Jonathan Gannon has a big day ahead of him. You don't have to be all out aggressive. It doesn't have to be nonstop blitz, nonstop pressure over and over and over again. Justin Herbert's a special talent. They have Mike Williams. They have Eckler, who can catch the ball as well as a running back and makes moves. Shifty, hard runner. He's got a good versatility involved. So with him, Mike Evans, and who am I missing? Keenan Allen. It's something that they can take advantage of if you're overly aggressive. But you can't sit back either, because just like some of the other quarterbacks we've seen to this point this season, if you have soft coverage and you have 2 safeties high and you don't put press coverage on these players, dink and dunk down their way down the field until they get comfortable enough to work 8 minutes off the clock, and your offense is sitting on the sidelines frustrated because they want to get back on the field. Which means, Nick, apply that to your game plan as well. This is a huge, okay, coaching staff, what are you game? You can have the right mentality and then fall because the Chargers are better than you. Fine, I'll acknowledge that. If I'm watching the most passive defense in the world and a pass-happy offense and they lose, well, I'm going to have a totally different feel, and I think that's fair. I think that's very standard in how it should be, because it's basic. It's staring at you right in the face. A good coaching staff, you shouldn't even be questioning. You already know. Just like we, waiting to watch the game on Sunday, we already know what should be targeted. If it's not, that's concerning. That will be absolutely concerning for me as a fan, because now I have to wonder, how does Jonathan Gannon not see this? How does Nick Sirianni not see this? It's basic information. Find the right level of aggressiveness. Can't be too passive. Can't be too blitz heavy. But you know what I loved last week about this linebacking core, believe it or not? TJ Edwards, Davion Taylor. They went downhill. They met you. Your defensive line was eating also. That needs to happen again, and there is an advantage here. Advantage Eagles. Front, defensive front, go. Get into that backfield. We don't get paid to play the screen, baby. Get in there. Make tackles. Tackles for loss. And from there, your linebackers can be more aggressive. Just play. You find the right balance. Find the right middle ground. But show me steps in the right direction, Jonathan Gannon, because we got answer number one on the quarterback, and it's probably not the guy. So what's next? Figuring out what the hell is Nick Sirianni and what the hell is Gannon. Big time on you, game plan. I want to know that all week long, in practice and film and when you're studying and when you're communicating with the team, you're doing the right things. If execution's a little poor because of lack of skill set and whatnot and a lack of power on your roster, fine. Strategically, studying and analyzing what you have to do. Do you at least have that right? Because that's step one as a coaching staff, and that's a huge impact on most of the time if you're going to win or not. Yes, talent is the most important for sure, but without a good game plan as a head coach in the NFL, you're setting your team up for failure as well. Jordan Howard, Boston Scott, let's rock. The veteran leadership, let's keep going. And one thing I want to mention is, Jason Kelce did something that we enjoyed because it was funny and it was goofy. But after that win, what did he say in the locker room? Roots on three, 1, 2, 3, roots. And he made light of the situation that was Nick Sirianni the week prior, the week leading up to the game, of the whole flower nonsense. That's a veteran trying to put it to rest, honestly. That's the way I'm reading it. That's the way I see it is, you make fun of it, you grab onto it because you're doing your best. It's a desperation move, I think, for a locker room, but you just kind of hold on to it, you laugh it off, and then hope it becomes more background noise instead of ignoring it and pretending like it wasn't there. Roots on three, ha. All right, then you just move on. And maybe they hold on to it for a couple games here if they do win against the Chargers, but it just shows you the veteran leadership stepping in there where I think that matters. And it's a little thing, but it's a little thing that definitely plays a role in the morale of the locker room. That's something that you look side to side when you're in the locker room and Nick Sirianni's spurting the nonsense out and he's telling the people, the roots. What? You get Kelce in there to try and settle it down, make light of it, and helping out the young coaching staff. That's the way I'm reading the situation. That's the way that I'm seeing it. With Mike Williams and Keenan Allen, I would love to see Darius Slay, man-to-man, one-on-one, see how he hangs. I don't know what Jonathan Gannon's going to do. He's obsessed with the zone. We know he loves the zone. We know that's his bread and butter, if you will. I mean, it's hard to say that when it gets torches as much as it does and you get insanely exposed, but that is something that he heavily believes in. I would like to see, because 50-50 balls, that's something that's going to be tossed up. I would love to see Darius Slay in those spots. I know Avonte Maddox has been playing strong, and I am loving every moment. He's got the energy. He's the Energizer bunner. He's the Energizer bunner. He's the Energizer bunny that is running around, and when he makes a play, there is this vibe that generates throughout everybody else out there when it's him. And I almost relate this to the little brother of the crew doing something strong, and then you got the guy, like there's something about the younger brother doing something awesome that really does resonate throughout. And I feel when he's breaking up a big pass, whether it's in the slot or if it's deep, and there's a massive rebound, if you will, him rebounding and getting back into control the best way possible to swat the ball out before a touchdown, which we've seen this season. He's been all over the map, and he's just comfortable in his normal setting, which is the slot area. Night and day, what you're seeing. It's crazy. When you put these players in position to execute their best strengths, you see better play. Shocking breaking news, JG, or whatever the hell you want to be called. I want to see Darius Slay get tested like that. I just don't anticipate it. Will probably be upset. Like, that's my thought going into it, which is, it's not fair to me. But if I'm just analyzing what the coaching staff has been to this point, it's been more disappointing. It's been more failure than it has been, they finally turned the page. And I'm not saying it's impossible for them to turn the page. I haven't truly seen it in back-to-back weeks, consistent mindsets from them. Maybe that's what it took. Maybe it took all the noise, all the hate, all the loud fans, the media members, the sports talk radio host, whatever it is, bashing Jonathan Gannon. Maybe he needed a big wake-up call and a big splash of water on his face because after 8 weeks, 7 weeks of football, he was getting mocked as a defensive coordinator and laughed at. Just look at the numbers. It speaks for itself. And don't tell me the 20 yards, the play's over 20 yards. Whoop-de-damn-do. You're getting shelled for 40-plus. You're getting embarrassed by your division rival on the road early in the season. Please. So, is it? Is it the difference? They needed that to be the wake-up? Sunday, 4 o'clock. That's going to be the sign. It's funny, though, that what one win does with confidence, and we did the same thing. I'm right there with you. We did the same thing after the Falcons. Now it's one game, and we're all excited, like, hey, what are they? That was awesome. So week 2 comes along. My point is week 2 comes along, and we feel better about the San Francisco 49ers game because it's coming off of a win. We all feel so much better. And keep in mind, the Chargers have lost some games. They have not been pretty. They haven't been the most fantastic in the world. They're a good team. I think I'd label it as a good team. They're not in the elite of the elite category. They have too many problems defensively. At times, you saw their offense struggle to put up some points. They're a good team. If you beat them, you don't say similar things that you said against the Lions or similar to the the Carolina Panthers. Of Sam Darnold's miserable and he's absolutely pathetic, or the Lions are one of the worst organizations ran in sports. You tip your cap and say, well, there's something to that win, because that's a nice win. Even though it's at home, the Chargers have to fly out west, which makes it more difficult for them to play a 4 o'clock afternoon game. It's still looked at as a reasonably acceptable opponent to be excited about after a win. The fact that you destroy the Lions, though, it automatically puts us in a different mode, thinking, well, we can do that. Now, I think there's a correlation with looking at what worked last week, seeing this week's opponents' flaws, and say, well, if they stick to the same plan. And that's why when you see certain games on the schedule, you feel better than others, because the other team has holes and deficiencies. This is a team that, it's there. It's not impossible. The line being as close as it is. Now, last week it was somewhat close, too. It wasn't an obnoxious line heading into the action. Do you see the big blowout? So can I rely on that right now? I guess it's so difficult when you're looking at these teams, specifically the Eagles, that could be so up and down every week where you don't know what they live off of. You don't know what fuels them. You don't know what team they'll try and be that week. They're very inconsistent. When they play well, they play well. Look at week 1. Look at last week. When they don't play well, it's one of the worst offenses ever. They're going 3 and out. They're flagged left and right. How many flags? Personal fouls. Derek Barnett. Sloppy. Running out of bounds if you're a wide receiver before establishing yourself or just establishing yourself inbounds the whole damn time, I should say. Which brand of football are you? And that's the difference in great teams, good teams, is they're the better version of themselves more times than not. Thank you very much. I'm very smart, very intelligent. Go back and listen to that sentence again, and they'll tell you that was the most basic thing in the world. That's why I just said that. Oh, yeah, no doubt. Hey, Brodes, rocket science, great teams. They're more consistent with their better play than their disgraceful play. Thanks for the breakdown and the analysis. You're welcome. Look, you know what else I know about? DraftKings. Football fans, who's ready to score some free bets? Now you can when you bet on any NFL game this week with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. New customers who bet just $1 on either team to score can win $100 in free bets. When a team scores, you score. DraftKings Sportsbook customers can also get skin in the game with new same-game parlays. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code Brodes. Bet $1 on either team to score and win $100 in free bets. If they score, you score with promo code Brodes this week at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Must be 21 or older, Pennsylvania only. New customers only. Restrictions apply. In partnership with Meadows Racetrack and Casino. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. If the Eagles not only outcompete, but if they play a physical style of play, that's going to help tremendously. And that all is one conversation about the run game. That really does make or break the physical part of the game. Think about the less tackles that are made. If you're dropping back and throwing the football and it's 1st and 10 and it's incomplete, nobody's taking anyone to the ground where you're making a hard-nosed tackle. So if you play physical up front on both sides, because the trenches is where it begins, and that is A+ check mark for the Eagles. That's something that they can annihilate right there. Both sides of the football in the trenches. If you play physical there, it all grows out. So if you're looking at the defensive line, then your linebackers can play with some intensity and raise that level, and your secondary pieces as well. It's all in one. Same with the offensive line. If your offensive line is waxing the opponent and you hand it off to Jordan Howard and there's a hole in between the tackles and he takes it for a gain of 6, and then you run it with Boston Scott and gain of 4, and now you're moving the chains and it's nonstop wearing them down. Imagine what's going to happen if you establish that early in the first or second quarter. By middle of the late third, you're talking 60 miles, 60 minutes on your body. It's going to beat you down at some point. Take advantage of that. All right, we're going to go to the Anytime Hotline and hear from you. What are your thoughts entering the game Sunday afternoon at the Link?
Yeah, bros, this is Connor from Scranton. I'm just calling to give my thoughts on the game on Sunday against the Chargers. Look, dude, we got to continue what we're doing, and that's run the damn ball. Feed Boston Scott. Feed Jordan Howard. Let's give Kenny Galloway some opportunities. LA, Chargers specifically, have one of the worst run defenses in the league. And we'd be stupid to go back to the previous game plan, which just puts the ball in Jalen Hurts' hand. So it's simple. Run the ball. Take the pressure off Jalen Hurts' hands. And then you can open up the playbook for him once the run game is established. Defensive side, we need to pressure Justin Herbert. Don't give him time to throw. And if we do those two things, my dude, I think we can come away with the victory on Sunday.
I think we can come away with the victory as well, and getting pressure on Justin Herbert will be massive where he's on his heels. He's got an arm. He's a smart quarterback, but just like anybody else who's young in this league and very good in this league too. Look at Pat Mahomes, and that's totally different. I don't know what's happening with him mentally and this Kansas City Chiefs team as a whole. They're somewhat falling apart, and they have to recreate their identity after heading to the Super Bowl and having all that success. I think it's time to reshape some things, but I digress. With Justin Herbert, with how fantastic he really is and how strong he is in certain areas of this game. If Fletcher Cox and Javon Hargrave and Derek Barnett, Josh Sweat, if they're able to penetrate and get on his body there as he's trying to roll around in the pocket, and now he's scrambling, his feet aren't set. Maybe that could get Darius Slay to jump in front of a ball, or Avonte Maddox to break something up, or let's say there is a completion, bang, Avonte Maddox with a major punch out, and Darius Slay picks it up for another touchdown in back-to-back weeks. I highly doubt that. My point is, though, if Fletch and Josh Sweat, if they're actively getting to the quarterback and he's rolling to his left, he's rolling to his right, he's throwing across his body, put him in those spots to make those quick second decisions. He's still young, and he will absolutely make mistakes if that happens. No doubt about it. Back to Nick Sirianni, though, that you importantly brought up. Doesn't it seem so simple? Doesn't it seem so obvious? To the point where if we don't see the most clear statement on how to approach this game with your game plan, don't we have to seriously analyze how you missed that, how you messed that up? Or is this all Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman and them wanting to pass the ball so damn much in 2021? At the same time, though, you just watched winning football. You watched a winning brand. It shouldn't matter how it happens, Jeff. Because whatever you were doing before dropping back or sitting in the RPO in the shotgun, nonstop. That's not working either, Jeff. And I don't know what you want to do with this quarterback who you can't put the ball in his hands. The other teams want the ball in Jalen Hurts' hands. So do not just actively put your game plan to what the other team wants to do. They will live with that all day long. Physical. Make them have to meet you at the line of scrimmage to make tackles. They don't want to do that all 60-minute long. That's tiring. It's gruesome. Damage occurs. It's hard. Wear and tear on your body. Third quarter, back end third quarter. It wakes you up. Damn, it hits you. Holy hell, I'm beat. I don't want to see that if I'm on the opposing sideline. So do it. Do it, Nick. What's next?
What's up, bros? Going into this game on Sunday, honestly, I don't have a good feeling, man. I know it sounds crazy. The Eagles, it's the Lions, but they won big, and they look good. But either way, I don't have a good feeling. I say that because Justin Herbert, we all know how elite he is. They've been in a little bit of a tailspin recently, and so I could definitely see them bouncing back and just lighting up the Eagles. I expect a more high-scoring game. I really hope they don't get away from the ground game and they learned their lesson from last game against the Lions and they still run on the Chargers, because keeping Justin Herbert off the field, Chargers don't have a good run defense. You can most definitely win the game doing that. Maybe not as much as you did last week, but you could still win with a dominant ground game the same way you did last week. You can run the ball and get probably the same amount of production against the Chargers. Maybe a little bit less, but something similar if you properly run the ball. Get Jalen Hurts out in space. And I think they should straight ahead run him more, honestly. I think they should straight ahead run him more.
I don't disagree with that. That's something I've mentioned before, too. And if you run it naturally, though, that opens up the playbook for you to do it, for your offense to run that. So it's, hey, is this going to Howard? Is it going to Boston Scott? Oh, let's slip in a Jalen Hurts designed run. He runs tough, too. I don't want him taking too many shots or anything along those lines, but he could lower his shoulder and gain an extra 3-4 yards after contact as he falls forward and just randomly throw that in throughout all your other runs, and then it becomes more of an X factor and even more explosive, and that's what you saw last week. Now, not all of them were by design, of course. He's running to the line of scrimmage. He's doing the high step pump fake, and he's gaining yards. And some of that is the Lions just not even being close to recognizing Jalen Hurts as the runner in certain plays, getting lost because they're so damn miserable. But ultimately, yes, running in general will open up Jalen Hurts' positive strength. Like, that's a positive. That's a strength of Jalen Hurts that they don't rely on as much as I think that they probably can. Now, I do find it interesting that you're not feeling as great about it just because of the Chargers and Justin Herbert and how elite he is, but you also touched on the fact that they are going through a downward spiral. There's two ways to look at this if you're looking at the Chargers, right? It can continue to spiral out of control. Maybe they're not as smooth, maybe they're not as strong, and maybe they do have some more growing pains than we would have anticipated earlier, where the snowball, you're going from West Coast to East Coast, you're flying, the time zones, the atmosphere is going to be intense. I don't know what the weather is going to be like. I don't think it's going to be anything too extreme. So, at least from my knowledge, maybe I'm wrong there, and then I just sound like an idiot right now. But from my knowledge, I don't think, and I can't just leave myself like that. I mean, if I'm going to make a statement like that. So, Sunday, Philadelphia, mostly cloudy. It looks like 57 degrees. Nothing too wild. So, yeah. That's at least right now. Things will change, of course. It changes every single damn minute. Are the Chargers going to have extra focus? We can't keep going this way. The direction has to stop now. Let's stop the railroad tracks right now and go where we need to. Or, another loss? What's happening with the quarterback out in L.A.? It could go either way. We'll find out. All right, one more.
So the intrigue of this game becomes, how do the Eagles approach it? I mean, are we going to see the team actually commit to a running game? Are we going to see them commit to a more, blitzing type style of defense? Or is, again, the Lurie dynamic going to come into play again? I could even see a scenario where the Eagles try to run the ball early, not be as effective, and just give it up outright. As far as the game goes, hey, we got to win a home game at some point this year, don't we? So what the hell? Let's let Sunday be the one. I'll go with the Eagles 30 and the Chargers 20. I think we might be catching the Chargers at a good time.
Wow, that's a pretty damn solid score for the Eagles. Now, we've seen scoreboards not really reflect the outcome or not reflect how we feel about the team because it looked closer. So who knows if it's 30-20, but it was 23-20 for a long period of time, and the Eagles get a touchdown with 6 seconds left to go, which made it seem more of a larger margin, if you will. Of course, we'll see how it all plays out. But, you brought up the fact that what if the run game doesn't work? If the run game doesn't work against this team, if they consistently at least pursue it, I'd be shocked. I'd be shocked with the way Jordan Howard looks fresh, with the way Boston Scott looks hungry, and when they get the ball, they're trying to prove to everybody that they were criminally underutilized early on in the season, the way that they have something to prove to the entire NFL world right now. If they're going to pursue it early and that's part of their mentality, I would be stunned, absolutely 1,000% stunned if there was zero success considering what has been given up on the other side to this point. It's just too glaringly obvious that they have an issue. It's not their average at the run game. They're like the worst stopping the run. So if they magically snap their fingers and have a great day at the offense, and the Eagles' entire offensive line is losing that battle, and the running backs are playing that poorly, I'd be shocked. Not saying it's impossible, though. We've seen crazy and wild things here with this team. So with that being said, I can't wait for Sunday afternoon. Before I let you go, do you want to get an advantage over your sportsbook? Download BetQL, the only app you'll need to make smart bets. Their best bet computer model scans over 350,000 unique bets per year to give you the best bet recommendation. They cover everything, spreads, over-unders, and player props. There's sharp data so you can see who the professionals are backing. And I want to give you an example right now of their NFL best bet of the day, which... seriously, wait for this information as it pulls up. I apologize. I'm having a little bit of a issue right now with my Wi-Fi, but it seems to be clicking back into gear. So if you look at their Cowboys versus Denver Broncos game, if you're looking at the spread, right now it's the Denver Broncos plus 10. They have the Broncos at plus 7, which is a 3-point difference from the current line. Consider going underdog. That's their 5-star rating bet. Enter the discount code Brodes at payment checkout for 25% off any of their subscriptions. With that being said, thank you all so much for listening, and I will see you next time.